Let's start. So, Chuma, tell us about yourself, like pre-Blackforce, pre-Salesforce. Can you tell us about yourself, please, Chuma?
Yes, first of all, thank you for having me today, Babatope. Of course, my name is Chuma Meribe. Before Salesforce or before Blackforce, I've been here in Canada for the past 2 years, a little above that. COVID made everything change for many people, and a lot of people wanted to go into different areas of endeavor. Myself, I wanted to go straight into business. I had a lot of plans. I've already tailored out how I'm going to do that. One of them include importation of goods from different parts of the world, from places I have connections, but looking at the outbreak of COVID and how things turn around, and it was more of an economy and a society of people who have internet and can function in locked doors. So for me, that was a kind of turning point. I said, okay, this has to change. I have to change my plans. I have to switch gears, and that's what I did. And I started doing a little bit of research on which particular areas I'm going to pivot into, and I went into, I think the first step I did was to do IT business analyst program. That was a crash course for like 6 weeks. And after I did that, a friend I met in that course introduced me to Salesforce, and he even gave me his Udemy login credentials to use. That means I'm going to be doing the course free. But then, 2 weeks into my course on Udemy, somebody introduced me to Blackforce. And when I heard about Blackforce, I said, "Is he going to be a Nigerian?" A person said yes. Is he a kind of Nigerian community? The person said yes. And that was the changing moment, because what the kind of experience I had when I did my business analyst course was very, very rich. It was a Nigerian community, and there was more understanding. The delivery of the lecture, the delivery of the class teaching was very, very tailored to what many of us in the class could relate with. Of course, it's not as if one cannot listen and understand from another culture who is speaking. No, but it's just that when you are listening to somebody who sound like like the teachers that you grew up listening to, and the way they illustrate their points, the way they try to simplify and make things that are difficult very simple. That was my attraction, and I explained that in my 6-week crash course as a IT business analyst. And when I joined Blackforce, I got the same experience. Babatope, the way you break down these difficult parts of Salesforce, and a lot of us who watch it when you do it think that it's easy when you enter into doing it in a trailhead. But then you encounter some challenges. You begin to wonder, how does Babatope do it? But you make it very simple, and that's one thing I appreciate about Blackforce and your teaching, and that helped me a lot. And the confidence I got with the community, everybody was more like helping each other. You throw in question in the chat group, and somebody will be added immediately to help you do it, and you kind of encourage that kind of community and cohesiveness, and everybody was taking advantage of it, and I took advantage of it, and here I am today, and I'm working as a Salesforce consultant.
Don't worry, Chuma, we're still going to get to all those details. Let's start from, I want people to know about you even before you start learning Salesforce. You studied in Japan. What were you doing in Japan? Like, why Japan? What's going on there?
Okay. Why I moved to Japan was because, of course, Japan wasn't my first choice when it comes to studying abroad. Having done my graduate program in undergraduate program in Nigeria. I wanted to move to the US. I wanted to move to the UK. I wanted somewhere, but not Japan, of all places. But fate had it that I would be in Japan, and it came so much. There was a lure. Things were very, very attractive. A lot of things were attracted me to go to Japan. That included scholarship offer, from the Japanese government, and I was fortunate enough to get that. So in my even when I got that, I wasn't going to go to Japan, but then I said, okay, let it be that we'll go there to know the culture. But I went there, it was more than the culture I learned. I studied, and I worked a little bit in Japan as an automation engineer, and then that was I left Japan and moved back to Nigeria briefly and came to Canada afterwards.
Okay. So now, Chuma, I know that you studied something technical in Japan, right? But from your technical background, does it have anything to do with Salesforce? Did your technical background help you understanding Salesforce, or was Salesforce just a natural, neutral, or green on knowledge area from scratch? I just want to know, maybe your understanding, your previous education background has anything to do with what Salesforce is all about. Let people know about that, because most people think because they have some economics background, some chemistry background, some whatever background they have, they think that would influence their understanding of Salesforce. From your own point of view, I remember during your interview, you're still asking me, what is objects? What is field? I remember that very clearly. So now tell the people, did your education help you understand Salesforce better, or was it just you on trying to learn something new and getting a job within that field?
Okay, first of all, before I answer that question, let me tell you my CEO right now in Optima Information Technology. He's a Salesforce consultant. He's a Salesforce enthusiast. He's a Salesforce expert. But this guy studied journalism, right? For me, I didn't have any experience about Salesforce or Salesforce or before, in Japan. My study in Japan didn't have anything to do with Salesforce or even any CRM. The only experience I have with Salesforce is when I worked briefly as a customer service rep in a company and here in Canada, and I use Salesforce to answer questions from customers and they do some services, right? But that was just purely on that user level, but not as a configuration expert or engineer. But then when I moved into studying Salesforce, now I begin to understand what is behind what I've been using as a customer rep then. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what you studied. It doesn't really matter your background. Salesforce is very intuitive and simple to use. It's only like you always say, follow the process, understand what you want to do. And one more thing is this, I would say, Salesforce is a platform that have already aggregated all those pieces of IT that we see in the background, be it coding, writing codes and all that. It has brought them together into a pieces of block of logic that you can put together to make a meaning. In business process right now, if you are going to construct or write any code, you are going to be very, very careful so that you don't get any bug in that. But Salesforce has eliminated those by creating all those lines of code into a block that you only have to piece them together and design a business process from end to end. So that what makes Salesforce very great, and yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well done. So Chuma, now let's go into why you sign up for Blackforce. When you sign up, you paid, and I did not instruct you to pay. Like, it was as if I just saw the money in my account and like, but we already stopped collecting money. So who is this guy that just paid me? Like, this guy just gave me free money. That was what I said, honestly. And after you paid, it was after 2 days or 3 days, you now email me and say, I paid for Salesforce training. I've not received anything, because then we don't have any process in the background, no confirmation, nothing. You just paid and you were expecting an email from us. You did not get that email. Then you now message me on WhatsApp that I've made payment. What is next? And I said, we've started 2 weeks ago. Why did you pay? I did not ask you to pay. So why did you go and pay for Blackforce training? What inspired you, despite the fact that we've already started the training, and you feel, I told you clearly that you cannot meet it. You cannot even, this is so bad of me, right? I said you cannot make it, like it's too late, join the next thing. I said, don't worry, I'll catch up, I'll watch videos. So tell me, why were you in a hurry? Why were you in a hurry to join that course? What's the inspiration?
So back to what I said before, I met a friend, and he already told me how he's been making it in Salesforce and in the ecosystem. And for me, that was the drive, that was the inspiration, because we just, after 2 months ago, we finished our course as a business analyst crash course that we did. In 2 months, after 1 month, he got a job. I asked him, is it the same business analyst program that we did that helped you to get a job? He said, no, Salesforce. I didn't know Salesforce. I know I've used Salesforce, right, as a customer care rep. I said, Salesforce? He said, yes. I said, whatever it is that made it possible for you to be earning 6 figures, within a short time of 2 months after our program, I'm going to do it. So he told me he has Salesforce admin certification. That was what he told me, but later he told me he had a Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. But for me, I was ready to start with admin. So I went into Salesforce, started the Udemy program. But when I heard about this Blackforce program that is run by a Nigerian, and it's a Nigerian community, I know there's going to be that kind of brotherly and sisterly and communal, support. So that was the motivation. And when you were pushing me away to go, I was like, I want to convince you that I can do this. I want to convince you that I will meet up. I just wanted you to say yes for me to get in. And luckily for me, fortunately you did. And thank you.
That's good. Well done. And I'm glad I did, because trust me, I would have hated it if I did not get you in and you maybe go somewhere else to make it. It would have been a very good, bad experience for me from that end. But that does not mean that anyone should start messaging me that we're officially closed. We now have a process. Okay. So now, Chuma, let's go into your certification prep. Okay. I know we had a very intensive 1 week certification prep, and you were very focused, okay? You were very focused. You wanted to get 100% in your certification, even though we try our best to aggregate questions from past papers and explain those questions clearly so people can understand and do well in the certification. But you were like, you want to dot your I's and cross your T's. So what happened? Tell us about your experience with the certification. What happened? Why were you so adamant on getting 100%? Like, do you feel like the little wasn't enough before you go into the room, or was it a case of who you are? Because I remember then you called me almost 3 to 4 times just to, why is this question A? Why is this question B? Tell me the reason. So now tell the audience, what was your drive? What's going on in your mind when you're praying for your certification?
That's a very interesting question. I will tell you, I don't like writing exams twice. I want to make it the first time, and I might be overly conscious of when I'm preparing. I want to, even if I don't make 100%, I want to make something close. I want to be sure I can make 100%. So if I don't get 100, let it be like maybe 90, 80, but let it not be that I fail. So that was why I always want to make sure that every question I had a problem with, I come back to you to ask. I just wanted to have that and to understand everything I was doing that time. But yeah, like you say, I followed the process, and I answered as much as I could. I finished all the questions,
And
the screen popped up that I passed, and I was happy.
That's good. Well done. Well done. And I remember there are some glitches in your certification, but we'll not go into that. We'll not go into that tonight, okay? So let's go into your job. I know the way you got your job is still is amazing, to be honest, because what you were interviewing for is not the skill you had. You had a Salesforce admin skill, and we train you a little bit with consulting, meaning that you are a good consultant by default, right? But what they messaged you for was something different. Why did you say yes? Why do you feel that you could do what you're not trained to do? Because Salesforce is very vast. There's field service lightning, there is community, there is experience, there is developer. Why did you say yes to the things that you were not even qualified to do? And what was the miracle? Tell us.
I mean, I was ready to say yes to any opportunity. So no matter how difficult it was, I was ready to say yes. I just want to get in there, let me get into the water. If I don't float, let me sink. But I'm sure I wasn't going to sink, but I just want to get into the water, right? So my experience was that I was, after optimizing my LinkedIn profile, yes. 2 days after, just 2 days after optimizing my LinkedIn, that's why I say you follow the process, works so much. And I got a call from one lady, not a call, a LinkedIn DM, and she was not asking me if I have FSL, /SFS. I don't know what those things mean, but I said yes. SFS, FSL. So I went to Google immediately before I responded and said FSL, field service lightning, and Salesforce service. So Salesforce field service. So both of them are the same thing, but it's just different nomenclature that they used to, identify the same thing. So yeah, I just shoot back a reply. I say yes, I have experience in FSL, and I have experience in SSL. Okay, look at the funny thing. Because I didn't know they meant the same thing. I say yes, I have experience in FSL and I have experience in SFS. So now, they also say configuration. Do you have experience as a configuration engineer? I said, yes, I have experience in configuration engineering. In fact, I was throwing the reply with so much faith that no matter what it is, if it is Salesforce, if I get in there, because I already know the basics from admin, I have foundation, I can just grow from there. What I'm going to do from whoever my employer is or will be, is just that little time for me to, navigate through the muddy waters and, come out very well. So I didn't have any of these experiences, but I told them that I can do it. I have experiences, and my interview came. Okay, now this lady, she's not a Salesforce expert. She's just a recruiting officer. So what I tried to make sure that I answered every question affirmatively to get the opportunity to get into the next stage, where I know the person that's going to question me is going to be a Salesforce expert, and even a field service expert to be precise, not just an ordinary Salesforce admin or whatever, or someone that have an experience with Salesforce. But for that particular role, I'm going to be working in the company. The person that's the expert that's going to be interviewing me. So this guy, during that time, he was very kind. The second interview with the expert, it was as if, for me, I felt like everything. I wasn't even. I can't say I sound cohesive enough when I was responding to him. But the only thing that helped me was I just went overnight to study everything about, field service, did trailheads, and within a space, because the first interview was on the 24th of December, right? And the following day, 23rd of December and 24th, everybody's going to be going for holiday, right? So it's not going to be on maybe 27th or 28th before I'm going to space the next person. So within that 3 days or 4 days, I had to do every trailhead I could find my hand in. Could lay my hands in on field service.